Okay, so I have the front of my loom warp threaded. I think I said weaved earlier. It's not weaved. I haven't done any weaving yet. I've warped the front. The back has no strings across it. If your back has strings across it, you didn't do it right, okay? So, across the front. Then, I'm gonna take my extra piece, cut it off, get another piece of tape, tape it down so it doesn't mess around with you. Okay, so you should have one at the beginning and one at the end. It's okay if they end down here, that's okay. But you need to have one on each side. Okay, the next thing you're gonna do is you're gonna go back using your yarn, pull from the mouth again, leave it hanging. Okay, then let's just say I got this yarn. You're gonna begin weaving. So when you start weaving, you're gonna need a long ruler, and I failed, and I didn't get a long ruler. So, hang on a minute, let me see what I can find. Okay, so then what you're gonna do after you have a ruler, and a longer ruler works better, is you're gonna take the ruler and you're gonna go over, under, over, under, over, under each of the strings. So I just use my finger and I pick up one, so start over here and I'll go under, over. I pick up every other one basically. So what you're doing is by putting the ruler, you're kind of creating space, okay? So every time you put the ruler in, yes, it's kind of like dividing them all at once, but it also helps you to create space, because what you can do with the ruler after you have it in there is you can twist it and you have a little space for you to put the string through, okay? My thing fell off down here. Having problems with this loom. Okay, so then after you have that, I'm gonna get my first string going. So I need the end of my string, and I'm going to, in the past, students have taken a pencil of their own, not my pencil, and tape the string to the end of the pencil, and that helps send it back and forth underneath the ruler, underneath the little arch you made with the ruler. But when you first get started, I have the string hanging out, and I can't leave it hanging like that. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put the ruler flat, so I have it flat, it's not raised anymore. Okay, and I'm gonna leave some of it hanging out, and then I'm gonna use the ruler, and like I said, the long rulers that you guys have in the classroom work a lot better. And I'm gonna use the ruler to push it up like this to get rid of all the gaps. I push it all the way up like that. Okay, then what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna back out my ruler, and I'm gonna take this end piece and I'm just gonna weave it in to lock it into place. If you don't leave it in, number one, your edges will look kind of furry because you have all these little pieces sticking out. And number two, it's more likely to fall apart because you haven't locked your pieces in. So I'm gonna lock that piece in and push it up just with my fingernails. Okay, then I'm gonna use the opposite end of the string because that side's locked in. Okay, and I'm gonna take my ruler again, and now I'm gonna go the opposite. So since my long string's on this side, I'm gonna start on this side again, okay? And my string is currently going under right now, okay? So since my string is going under, I need to go over. So you always go over, under, over, under. So I'm gonna start with my ruler, and I'm gonna go over this time, over, under, over, under. So I'll show you what I'm doing. I just raise every other one. And another reason why you want to, after you get done going over, under, over, under. Another reason why you want to use the ruler is because you're double checking yourself. Because when you raise it up like this, you can see if you actually got every other one. Because if you didn't get every other one, then it's going to be wrong, and the only way to fix it is to undo it. So it's easier to fix it now than after you've already got it weaved, and then you have to undo all your weavings to get back to where you were so you can fix it. And it's really a pain. So it's a lot easier to catch your mistakes as you go. So the more we can check our mistakes, like I'm checking it now, making sure every other one is up, then the less likely you are going to have to redo anything, and that's just going to be terrible. So like I showed you the trick, if you get a piece of tape on your pencil, this would be a good time to do that. After you have it locked into place, you can put a piece of tape like this. Okay, and then it's just easy to pass it back and forth. So I just easily pass it through that way. Pull it through. And one thing I want to show you before this video ends, because I'm running out of time, because YouTube has time limits, is that you don't want to pull it tight. So when you pull it through, you want to hold the edge. You want to hold this edge so you don't pull it tight. You want to leave that edge just a little bit loose on the edge. So that way, because if you pull it tight, what happens is it starts to turn into an hourglass and it looks really terrible. So then I'm going to use my ruler, mush that down, because you don't want to see any of this thread showing through. You should push. Okay, so now my chute's on that side. I'm going to pull out my ruler and I'm going to do the same thing, but this time I'm starting on this side because this is where my string is. It's this way. This is the side you get started on. So my string is currently on top of that bottom string, or of the last string, so now I'm going to go underneath it. I'm going to go underneath every other string this way. All the way this way. And then when I get to this side, I raise it, make sure it's got space between it, and make sure all the lines are every other one. Then my pencil chute goes through, and see, the pencil helps you reach from one side to the other. It really does help. Okay. Pull that through. Don't pull it tight. You got to make sure you hold this right here, because if that pulls tight, again, you get an hourglass and that looks really terrible. So pull that to there, then let go, let the ruler down, push this down tight, and then pull it out. You do the same thing going this way. Okay. What I was talking about the hourglass is if you keep pulling tight, it gets skinnier and skinnier and skinnier, and in the middle it starts turning into an hourglass, and it looks like it's got a belt on around it or something. It looks really terrible. Okay, if you run out of string, just like we started, you need to tie in your last piece of string, then start on the other side going this way with a new piece of string and tie in that side. Once you get it all the way pulled through and you have that little hair sticking out, tie that side in and then start weaving again. Okay? You guys can do this. Okay, I have a long ruler, not as long as what you have there. But what you're going to do next is you're going to take your board and you're going to take your ruler and you're going to go over, under every other string. So under, over on each string. Did you see that? My fingers are failing me.